But first tonight, the Coalition is staunchly resisting a government plan to pump more Australian cash into the International Monetary Fund. The government says money put into the fund is always returned with interest and that it's in the nation's long-term benefit to back the world's financial manager in uncertain times. It was just one of many brawls in Canberra today, and as political editor Chris Ullman reports, as the end of the year approaches, Parliament does tend to get a bit ratty.
That's the inside.
Yeah. I go like so.
Oh, you want to go that way. You want to go forehand.
Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah. We'll have to go that way. You've got to turn the ball over.
With his bias to the right.
So now I'm going to go that way, eh?
Yeah, hit for that bloke there, knocking over.
Tony Abbott almost hit the mark.
Oh, you got potential.
But slightly overcooked his attack.
Oh, stop.
He isn't here for the bowls. His one aim is to skittle Julia Gillard.
This is one of the tens of thousands of community clubs right around Australia that would be in jeopardy if mandatory pre-commitment goes ahead.
Anyone else want the water?
This week, the Coalition released its policy on problem gambling that stops well short of the government move to force people to nominate the amount they're prepared to lose before they have a flutter. All that's business as usual, but with the year nearing its end, Parliament's getting, well, a bit silly.
Get Up is the Hitler Youth wing of the Greens political movement, and I stand by that.
I find that extremely offensive and I ask him to withdraw.
Odd things are happening everywhere, really. In the hallways, the media's chasing the faintest sniff of a leadership yarn.
Hey, Daniel, what have I got on next?
In the Senate yesterday, Barnaby Joyce wanted to make a point that the Greens should be considered part of the government because that party routinely votes against the Coalition. That's the short explanation. Here's the long one.
In seriatim, this is how we voted. No, yes, no, that's one, but then neither the government didn't support it either. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, no, yes, no, yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
We'll leave the Senate for a moment to go to the House of Representatives.
Are there any questions?
Where things got serious in question time because the opposition was seriously opposed to Australia giving more money to the International Monetary Fund.
Why is the government planning to provide money it doesn't have to prop up the Eurozone, which is the world's largest economy?
What we have said is that the world will meet its obligations through the IMF to ensure that the IMF has the capacity in the future to deal with greater global volatility which flows from Europe, Mr Speaker.
And the Coalition won't let the border protection debate go.
In light of the fact that over 250 boats carrying 13,000 people have arrived illegally in Australia since August of 2008, will the Acting Prime Minister now admit that the government was wrong to abolish the Howard government's proven border protection regime?
Those people opposite should put the national interest first and join with us in supporting a regional solution.
The government's main aim today was to push its mining tax hard.
It's about how we spread the benefit of this boom to the broader Australian community.
With the mining tax bill before Parliament, Andrew Forrest is in town arguing the case against the tax, saying the deal struck with the big three miners is a dud.
The secret deal they've done gives such a deduction, which is only available to the big three, that they in fact get off scot-free. And it's the junior miners who will get hammered.
But let's get rid of this bunkum that it somehow discriminates against small miners. It does not, Mr Speaker. We've even put in a new threshold where it is not paid under $50 million.
Meanwhile, back in the Senate...
Yes, no, yes, no, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes.
In the House, a member was racing the clock to avoid being cut off.
Many of the people here get regular medical checkups, particularly prior to getting involved in any water-based activities. Mr Speaker, I agree with the message and of course want to see all Australians engaged in water safety.
Photos!
And in the halls of Parliament, the media had courted its quarry.
Hang on, folks. Hang on, folks.
We caught you.
The frenzied pursuit was sparked by more leadership speculation in the Daily Telegraph. The government was not amused.
The Murdoch press are an absolute disgrace. They are a threat to democracy in this country, and we should absolutely be having a look at them.
Muck raking from a newspaper which has got its own motives, Mr Speaker.
But the last word has to go to the indefatigable senator from Queensland.
No, yes, yes, no, no, yes. And I won't bore you, but you get the idea.